Welcome back to TonAI podcast about the latest news in the AI sphere. Our first story is about OpenAI's recent release of plugins for Chat GPT. This is a major development for the chatbot, as it will now have access to the internet and select third-party databases and information sources.
That's right. OpenAI has released 11 plugins for Chat GPT, including ones by popular companies such as Zapier, Expedia, FiscalNote, Instacart, and OpenTable. The plugins also include the math computer Wolfram for carrying out calculations and the business messaging app Slack, according to the announcement. These plugins will provide Chat GPT with a ton of new functionality, allowing it to plan trips, provide restaurant recommendations, shop for products, order from local grocery stores, and more.
It's fascinating how Chat GPT is able to leverage the plugins to gather information from websites such as e-commerce platforms Shopify and Klarna, and travel search engines Expedia and Kayak. But what's even more exciting are the plugins developed by OpenAI itself, such as a web browser and a code interpreter.
Yes, the web browser plugin lets Chat GPT retrieve information directly from the internet using the Bing AI API. This means Chat GPT can now interact with select websites and use their mentioned databases to gather information. The code interpreter plugin will also allow developers to run code within the chatbot.
It's important to note that the plugins are currently in a limited alpha testing phase and are not available to everyone. OpenAI is prioritizing a small number of developers and ChatGPT Plus users, but you can sign up for the waitlist to gain access.
It's clear that OpenAI's release of plugins for Chat GPT is a significant step forward in the development of AI chatbots. By providing Chat GPT with access to the internet and third-party databases, the chatbot will be able to offer more advanced and useful responses to users.
Absolutely, Nike. It's exciting to see how AI chatbots like Chat GPT are evolving and becoming more sophisticated with each passing day. By the way, last week Google's AI chatbot, Bard, was finally being released to the public.
Yeah, I did, Jane. I think it's really interesting that we now have another AI chatbot to interact with.
Definitely. And it seems like Bard functions similarly to OpenAI's Chat GPT. You can prompt it with a question or task and it will produce a response.
Right, and one thing that sets Bard apart is that it will give several versions or drafts of its answer for you to choose from. That's pretty cool.
It really is. I think this feature will be particularly useful for those who are looking for a more personalized or specific response. And if you still don't like any of the responses offered, you can always ask the same question again or ask follow-up questions.
That's true. I can definitely see this being helpful for tasks like planning a trip or trying to come up with a new recipe. It's like having a virtual assistant to bounce ideas off of.
Exactly. And it's interesting to see how AI chatbots are evolving and becoming more advanced. I wonder what other features or capabilities we'll see in the future.
It's definitely exciting to think about. And I'm sure we'll continue to see more advancements and developments in the AI chatbot space in the years to come.
And let's talk about another AI tool today. We'll be discussing the latest news that Character.AI, an AI startup founded by two former Google employees, has raised $150 million in a funding round led by Andreessen Horowitz. What do you think of this, Nike?
It's fascinating, Jane. This is a clear indication of the high demand for AI startups in the tech industry. Character.AI's technology allows users to create a fully customizable and personalized AI companion with a distinct personality and values, which is a unique feature in the market.
Yes, that's true. The financing round comes at a time when big tech companies and venture capitalists are investing heavily in AI chatbot software. Google and Microsoft are working on embedding chatbot software into their key products, such as search, documents, and email, to bring AI-generated responses to users.
That's right. Microsoft even announced a Chat GPT-integrated Bing search engine. And earlier this week, as we mentioned, Google launched a test version of its chatbot Bard. However, Character.AI's founders believe that their product offers a distinct advantage over their former employer's product.
Yes, Daniel DeFreitas mentioned in an interview with Axios that they're confident Google will never do anything fun. It's a funny statement, but it highlights the tension between the founders and their former employer.
That's true. It's also worth noting that Character.AI's valuation of $1 billion is quite impressive, considering that the company is reportedly pre-revenue.
Yes, that's quite unusual. It's reminiscent of the hype around other technologies like crypto and social audio, which also saw high valuations despite being pre-revenue. Andreessen Horowitz has been a significant player in driving up prices in both markets.
Absolutely. The firm announced a $4.5 billion crypto fund in mid-2022 when the digital currency market was in freefall. And a year earlier, it added to its investment in audio app Clubhouse, valuing the early-stage startup at $4 billion.
It's also interesting to note that Character.AI plans to use the fresh capital to expand its compute abilities and grow its team. The company is reportedly nearing 100 million site visits per month, which is impressive growth.
Yes, it is. And Sarah Wang, a partner at Andreessen Horowitz, said in a press release that Character.AI has the potential to transform how humans connect with AI and reinvent how we interact with technology as a whole in our everyday lives.
It's a lofty goal, but it will be interesting to see how Character.AI develops its technology and the impact it has on the market.
Wow, the AI-generated images of Donald Trump's arrest that are going viral on social media are definitely fake, but they look so realistic.
Yeah, they're pretty convincing, and some of them even look like stills from a video game or a lucid dream.
Elliot Higgins, a founder of Bellingcat, created a Twitter thread with these images, and it was viewed over 3 million times on the social media platform.
What did Higgins say about how to tell the difference between fake AI images and real photographs of the former president's potential arrest?
Higgins said that people should look outside of the image's focal point, as everything around it often has more flaws. He also pointed out that messy text is a way to differentiate fake images from real photos.
That's interesting. It seems like the algorithms still struggle to replicate the human body in a consistent, natural manner. The face and hands in the AI images of Trump from the Twitter thread look fairly convincing, but the body proportions may look contorted or melted into a nearby police officer.
Yeah, and if you ask for expressions, the AI algorithms tend to render them in an exaggerated way, with skin creases from things like smiling being very pronounced.
It's clear that the more famous a person is, the more images the AI has had to learn from, so very famous people are rendered extremely well.
That's right, and it's likely that the AI generators have already scraped your image data from the web. It's worth thinking twice before posting a photo dump of selfies after a fun night out with friends.
So, what is Twitter's policy about AI-generated images in the lead-up to the next U.S. presidential election?
Twitter's current policy reads, in part, you may not share synthetic, manipulated, or out-of-context media that may deceive or confuse people and lead to harm, misleading media.
That's a good policy, but I wonder if social media platforms will need to reevaluate their approach to synthetic content as AI images become harder to differentiate from the real deal.
Yes, it's a complex and often unsettling world of generative AI, and guiding users through it will be a challenge. That's it for today's episode. We hope you found this discussion on AI-generated images insightful and thought-provoking.
And remember, the increasing prevalence of fake AI images is a reminder to be vigilant when consuming media online. Always double-check the sources and context of the content you see.
And if you're interested in learning more about the latest news and trends in the world of AI, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and tune in next time for another exciting episode.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.